Hey guys, it's Jamisha, a stylist within me, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some sewing essentials that I have for beginners. So let's get right into the video. So the first thing that I have is this pen cushion. I have like a lot of different pens in here, so this really comes in handy when you're like sewing things and you need like pens on the go, or like when you're sewing, you know, you can take your pens out and you can just stuff them in here. And the pen cushion is pretty inexpensive. I think a pen cushion is around maybe like $1 or $2, I think, roughly. But they're pretty cheap. And you can just stick all of your pens in there. Or you can go magnetic. And I have a magnetic pen holder, I guess. So this is what a magnetic one looks like. And it basically... this comes in handy like when you drop your pens too, because sometimes I tend to drop mine on the floor. So this comes in handy with just one smooth motion, and it'll just get them up for you. So this is a magnetic one, and this is your standard pen cushion, tomato. So they come in a variety too. Another thing that you guys will need are scissors, and I have two different pairs of scissors. These are for paper and these are for fabric, and I also have smaller scissors, but for beginners just starting off, you'll just need like two different pairs. Make sure your paper scissors never touch the fabric. Make sure your fabric scissors never touch the paper, because that will dull out your scissors and you'll be getting scissors like crazy. Or you can go like a better route of getting like a rotary cutter. That way you'll know for sure that that's just for fabric. But other than that, you need paper scissors and fabric scissors. Then you'll need like a measuring tape just to take like different measurements. I don't know if you guys draft your own patterns or if you use like commercial patterns, and it'll call for you to like measure like your hip or your bust. And so you'll just need like your standard measuring tape. Measuring tapes cost nowhere between like 97 cents depending on where you get it from and what kind of measuring tape you get, because some have like centimeters and like they have like a different length. This one goes up to 60 inches. There are some that go up to 120 inches, and that's with like centimeters and stuff. So it just depends on which one you get, but you can just pick up a regular one that's 60 inches. Now you will need a hem gauge, and this comes in handy when you're doing like your hems of your garments, like the bottom hems of sleeves, shirts, pants. Like this will come in handy when trying to figure those things out. So this is what a hem gauge looks like, and it moves. Mine is pretty used up, so this doesn't stay like it should, but I know how to make it work. Now this is actually a chalk pen, and it came with like several different colors of chalk. I have white, purple, orange, red, all those different types of colors. But I have a chalk pen. They have different types of chalk. They have the tailor's chalk, which is like a round one, and I think they have another different kind of chalk pen if I'm not mistaken. But you'll just need a chalk pen. This is just to do like different kind of markings, like say you have to do a dot on certain things, and that'll just really help with seeing that and remembering that, hey, this goes here, this is my sewing stopping point, or this is where my buttons go. Like, so having a chalk pen really helps, and it's less messy than the actual tailor's chalk, because tailor's chalk is just the chalk itself, unless you have like a holder or something. But this is less messy, and I've never really used the eraser part, but yeah, this is my chalk pen. Now the most important thing you will need as a sewer, beginner sewer, all the way up to advanced level sewing, this. See this? See this? Seam rippers. I can't tell y'all how many times I have gone through so many seam rippers. Like, it's a constant thing of needing a seam ripper, and somebody, like, I go to school for design, so it's like a constant thing of somebody taking your seam ripper, like if you leave it around or something like that. And people are always asking for a seam ripper. Like, it sucks to have to rip out seams out of a garment and you don't have one of these. Like, they make your life so much easier, but it's like you can't you can't go through your sewing life without a seam ripper. Like, you're gonna have one of many, 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 many. So get you a seam ripper, maybe like one or two, because eventually you're gonna lose one and you're gonna need the other one, or somebody might take one, so you're gonna need tons of seam rippers. Not saying anybody's gonna steal y'all stuff, but it happens. The next thing that you guys will need is a tracing wheel and wax paper. They also have like carbon paper, I think. It's like a bigger sheet of paper, but wax paper is widely found in like all different types of stores. Mainly where I go to get my stuff is Walmart or Joann's, but since Walmart is right there by my school, which I stop by every day, well, since Walmart is right there, that's where I go to get, like, you know, some necessities for my, like, different things that I have to do. So you'll just need like a regular tracing wheel. You have different kinds. You have some that have spikes. I know you use that for like leather, but for the sake of being inexpensive and just starting out, this is just your regular tracing wheel with the with the low spokes on it. So it's not dangerous or anything. My child plays with this, so this is not dangerous if you have kids around. It's not dangerous. And then this is the wax paper. I think this is like maybe like a 5 by something. No, 3 by 19.5 inch long sheet, and you just place it in between your fabric and roll over it like when you're doing your darts or like certain different markings, and you need to see it on the wrong side of the garment. But mainly you use these for like transferring darts on your garments. Now the next two things I'm going to get into is thread, which to sew, why would you not sew without thread, right? And then hand needles, because these come in handy. Like, say you're doing like you have some closures that require like hand stitching things. You can do like hand sewn buttons. I know you can do it on the machine, but I prefer to do mine by hand. It's a little tedious, but hey. And then like when you're closing up certain hems, sometimes you might have to do a slip stitch, blind hem stitch, like all different kinds of stitches, even though they have the machines for that now. But it's good to know how to use your hand needles, and these come in some of my needles are missing, but they come in different sizes of hand needles, if you didn't know that. And all you have to do is look at the needle eye and see, and the needle size, because they have like different kinds of needles, like Chanel needles, Dawning needles. Like, it's for like different type things, just depending on what you're doing. But typically I just try and use like the smaller ones where I know it won't puncture my fabric as bad, depending on what kind of fabric I'm using. And I have some pattern weights. They actually sell pattern weights in the store, but those are pretty doggone expensive. And so to combat that, I just went to Home Depot and just picked up these large size washers, and I have like a lot of these. So, and you just place them on top of your paper patterns, and it just holds it down. And this is a much cheaper way than buying those pattern weights in the store. So I think these were like 33 cents a piece, and I bought like maybe 10 or 15 or something like that. But I just keep them in my sewing bag when I need them, and they come in handy. And the last thing that I'm going to show you guys is just a marker, or I use a Sharpie marker for like just tracing stuff, but you can use like pens, pencils, any type of marking utensil that you would need. Get some, like, get a variety of marking utensils. I know in school we use like 0.5 pencils, and that's for just when we're doing like pattern drafting, so that line can be really fine. But yeah, so make sure, like, if you're doing like corrections on certain things, get like a different color to let you know, hey, this line isn't here anymore. Let me X that out and let me use another color to indicate that I'm using something different. So that's all pretty. Oh, how can I forget this, y'all? How could y'all let me forget this? The most important thing to have is a sewing machine. I'm not saying you guys have to have the most expensive sewing machine out there. Like, just get you a basic sewing machine that does straight stitch, zigzag stitch. One that you can go backwards and forward to do your locking to like back stitch. You don't necessarily have to have a machine that does buttonholes or machines that does these different type of appliques. Like, work your way up to that stuff. Like, learn how to work with what you have first and then go to that. Like, I had my old brother's sewing machine for so long and it was just so simple, and then I worked my way up to the brother CE, what's this, like, it's a Project Runway limited edition machine, so it has like over like 99 different stitches and it's computerized. But that's something I work my way up to because that's what I'm used to, and I'm actually going to school for this. So I'm not only on my home sewing machine, but I'm on like industrial sewing machines like the Juki's and just working with those. So like, I have my hands on different types of machines, but work your way up to the home sewing machines, and then I don't know, if you can go to a school and get some type of experience to do that, I would highly recommend it. And I also have a serger, but again, you do not have to have a serger starting out. I learned when I was first going to Alabama A&M, because we didn't have sergers there and it's such a small school. So what they taught us was to like zigzag stitch your the seams of your garment, the edge seam of your garment, or take some pinking shears and clip your seam, the edge seam of your garment, and that'll prevent it from fraying. Granted, a serger is great, but you do not have to start off with that. And so I kind of hope this helped you guys out a lot. Just use what you have and work your way up to more advanced things, and you can just add more things to your sewing collection as you go on. And so I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Okay, so it's one thing that I left out, and this is actually what I have, craft paper. And I just went to Walmart and got this. I think this is like $4.97 for this long roll of craft paper. And that's if you're like tracing out patterns. I know, like, starting out you want to just trace like your clothing and stuff. You can use newspaper. You can tape up typing paper together and use for pattern paper versus just buying what it says pattern paper. So you guys, y'all have plenty of options. I know even at the Dollar Tree sells craft paper. So if you can't afford stuff at Walmart, just go to the Dollar Tree. Like, it's all $1. So yeah, I'm sorry I left that little bit out. Bye guys.